Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Kendall and today we are going to be doing my August TBR video. So two of these books I'm not going to go into like a lot of detail of what they're about, just because I'm carrying them over from my July TBR because these are the books that I did not get to. So I don't want to like go into a ton of detail because I'm sure all of you have, like whoever has watched my July TBR video will remember what these are. But the first one, I don't have the book inside here, and it is Unravel Me by Tahereh Mafi, and it's the second book in the Shatter Me series. It sounds so good. I cannot wait. I really enjoyed the first book in the series, which was Shatter Me, and so I've been dying to keep reading it, and I know there's quite a few I think in this series, or a good bit, and so I've been wanting to get at this one, and this is one of the ones where I'm actually not buying the entire series before I read them. I'm like buying them one by one, so I can't buy the next one until I finish this one. The next one that I'm going to be reading is Finley Donovan Knocks Him Dead by Elle Cosimano. This is also being brought over from July, and it is the second book in the Finley Donovan series. The first book ended on quite a cliffhanger, so I'm excited to see how they pick it up and work with this one. And then the third one comes out next year, so I'm very excited to get to this one and see how much I like it. These are all pretty short reads. I am very excited to see like how the relationships play out in this book. I feel like we're going to get more into the relationships of Finley's people in her life, because she is in sort of a love triangle at the moment, and you know, things are happening with her ex-husband, and I just hope this is just as funny as the first one and just as intriguing, because that one was a 5-star read for me, and oh my gosh, I just am obsessed. The next book I plan on reading is just going to solidify what I already think, but it is These Twisted Bonds by Lexi Ryan. This is the last book in the duology of These Hollow Vows, and oh my gosh, I've been waiting for forever for this. Just look at this cover, and then you turn it and look at the back. Y'all, I don't like love triangles, but this one's written very well, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. So apparently this month is going to be a month full of like second in series books too, because I have I actually have 3 books that are the second in a series, even though this is like the last, it's just a duology, but yeah, I don't know how that happened, but it did, and I'm not mad about it in the slightest. I'm not going to go too into what this was about, but These Hollow Vows basically followed your main character. Her name is Abriella, and she goes by Bree, but she basically, her sister got taken, and she had to make a deal with this Fae court, and has to go like against another court in the Fae world and steal a bunch of relics for the one she's working for in order to get her sister back. So she ends up having to pretend to like try and be engaged to the prince, and she ends up getting engaged to the prince. And they also have a guy named Flynn who is helping her like get these relics and take them from one court to the other. And so Bree's having a hard time because she's supposed to hate these Fae people because she doesn't agree with them, and they're very like hateful towards humans, but she's having a hard time, you know. She wanted her sister back, so things are happening. It ended on kind of a cliffhanger, and I'm ready to see what this book has in store for me. It's kind of like a bigger book and a bigger chunker book for a YA, so I'm excited to see how it plays out, and hopefully it's everything that I've hoped that it's going to be. The next book I have been wanting to get to because I adore this author now, and it is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. The fact that Taylor Jenkins Reid blurbed this book makes it even better, but I read Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation this year, and I adored them. I love them both. I gave them both 5 stars. I honestly don't know which one I like more, and so I'm excited to see where this one is going to fall in the ranks of the Emily Henry books that I have read. So you have Nora, who is a literary agent, and she's obsessed with books. They have, you know, been her life for as long as she can remember, and she doesn't really relate to any of like the heroines in the books though, so that like kind of like, I don't think it sits well with her, but I'm just making an assumption, because you know, everybody wants to relate to the heroine and be the main character, even if you're not, you just want to be. So Nora wants to feel that way, I believe, but her sister Libby wants to go on this vacation with her, like this one last big hurrah in North Carolina, and she wants to go for a whole month. So Nora basically packs up her life and decides to go on this trip with Libby. So they think that this is going to be like full of picnics and new adventures and different things like that, but Nora keeps bumping into this editor that she has already met before many times back in New York, and his name is Charlie, and I don't know if he's a grumpy, if this is like a grumpy sunshine type of thing. I know that people have advertised it as enemies to lovers, and then they've not liked it, but it's not supposed to be advertised as enemies to lovers, so I'm not going into it expecting that, but it does say he's brooding, so I'm thinking it's more of like a grumpy type of thing, but it could be two grumps, it could be grumpy sunshine, I don't really know. So I am just going into this with open eyes. But everybody that I am like close to have loved this book, and they think it's so amazing, and I just, oh my gosh, I love Emily Henry. I need to read this one ASAP because why not, you know? The next book I'm going to be reading is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This is supposed to be an amazing book. It's been 5 stars for a few of my friends, so I think I'm going to be buddy reading this one with Lauren and Elizabeth from Lauren Love Reads and Ponytails and Paperbacks. So you have your main character Florence, who is a ghostwriter for this author, and she has gone through like this bad breakup, and she just thinks that love does not exist. But the bad thing is she writes for an author who writes romance books. And her editor, she's struggling, you know, to write this romance book, and her editor will not give her a break. But then she has to leave because she has found out that her father died, so she's having to go and like grieve with her family and, you know, put her father to rest. Her family owns like this funeral parlor, and she has basically like tried to put out that town that she grew up in and all of this stuff from her life, because she has just never really felt understood by them, and you know, coming back after 10 years is bringing back all of these memories for her, and they're just hard to deal with. But then she runs into a ghost who apparently is like a handsome ghost in the funeral parlor, so that kind of puts a wrench into her plans. You know, that would put a wrench into anyone's plans, I believe, because nobody's expecting to find a ghost who is confused as to why he's there, and she's confused as to why he's there as well. So this book sounds like it's going to be really fun, really cute, and just the things I've heard from like Olivia and from Keisha, they have raved about this book and they want me to get to it as soon as possible, so I'm gonna make it happen. The next book I was gifted to by my sweet friend Elizabeth at Ponytails and Paperbacks, and she sent me a note, and it says, "This is seriously such a unique and mind-boggling book. You have to read it. I am obsessed. So if you don't like it, at least I bought it to have you try it." She's so sweet. I literally was talking to her, me and Olivia both. We were book shopping, and we were talking to Elizabeth because Elizabeth was like, buy Hidden Pictures, and we couldn't find it at our bookstore, and it was apparently sold out, and so Elizabeth was like, don't buy it, and she bought both of us a copy. She's so freaking sweet. Lauren also read this book, and Caitlin also read this book, and they've been raving about it, so I'm ready for it. And it is Hidden Pictures by Jason Ruplick, I believe is how you say his last name. This book, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of creepy. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of scares me. I'm trying to see if I can find something to show you guys. Yeah, I'm sorry if a kid brought a drawing to me where there's like this creepy person burying a body, I'm throwing the kid away. I'm just kidding, I'm not. But they are going to a therapist and possibly to get an exorcism. But Elizabeth has been raving about this book. She adores it, and that's why it's going to be like the first book I get to in August. So you have Mallory, who is fresh out of rehab, and she takes this job as a nanny for this kid named Teddy, who is 5 years old, and I believe like, you know, it's supposed to be like this regular babysitting type job, which I kind of like because I am basically a nanny myself, but thankfully not of a creepy 5-year-old. So Mallory is living her life. She's getting to live in the pool house, and she's basically just taken into this family, and she feels like she's part of the family. She really enjoys Teddy. He's like this sweet, quiet boy, but he always goes everywhere with his sketchbook and his pencils. And she says, like, you know, he normally draws regular pictures, but then he draws this picture of a man dragging a body into the woods. That's enough for me. That's a no. It's a no from me. And then, like, his drawings start to, like, turn into these things that definitely a 5-year-old kid is not drawing. It's more complicated and complex and more artistic, but they're very sinister drawings. Gosh. So then she's like, okay, maybe this kid's like possessed and somebody is drawing like a murder that happened in this house a long time ago, which is scary to think about. So Mallory is setting off with a few other people, like a landscaper and somebody else and Teddy, to try and figure out what is going on. And this book, I'm ready for a wild ride. And everybody has read, the 3 people who have read this book have read this in like a day, and I think the pictures help it go really well and really fast. So I'm excited to get to this one, and it's just gonna be amazing. But those are the books that I plan to read in August. It's going to be a good time. I cannot wait for it. And I'm just, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So that's 6 books that I have planned. I had another one planned, but I'm not going to put it on my TBR unless I get to it and think that I can add it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all for being here. You guys make this channel what it is, honestly. Like, it's not me, it's y'all. And so I just wanted to say thank you. If you have made it to this point in the video, why don't you leave like a skull, one of the skull emojis, because we have like Hidden Pictures, The Dead Romantics, and Finley Donovan, which those all 3 contain pretty much murder, so you might as well put the skull in, because apparently that's what I'm obsessed with at the moment. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one.